You escaped Yemen in 2016. What sort of life did you escape there?
I mean, as we all know, like, hopefully that Yemen is kind of going through a lot of, like, horrific events. I guess I'm fortunate enough to not have had the worst part of it. I mean, my family was kind of got us out as quickly as they possibly could. I mean, it's gotten worse over the past 4 or 5 years. It's gotten a lot worse, and to just see the way that my cousins and my aunts and uncles are kind of what they're going through, you know, it's horrific. Like, I have one of my cousins was shot on his way to work for no reason. He was just in the middle of something that was happening between two, I guess, gangs or whatever it was, and he was caught in the middle of that. I mean, he couldn't get help. I had another cousin who died of a simple, like, cold, flu, because they didn't have the resources to, just simple medicine, like cold medicine we have. They didn't have that. He wasn't able to get that. It's just horrific. I mean, kids are getting desensitized to shootings and bombs. It's just very, very sad. There are so many people like me. There's so many kids in direct provision that I made friends with and that have a voice, but they just haven't been given the opportunity to. I thankfully have been, and that's why I use it to bring awareness on what it's like. I personally just talk about what it's like being a young person. You're in your, beginning stages of life, which, make you who you are, and to feel like it's been taken over by a process that you don't know how long it is. There are people that have been there for 2 years, and there are people who have been in that in direct provision for 8, 9 years. To be stripped away of all those years, like, to be stripped away of your kind of rights. You're not able to work. A lot of people, if you don't have your status, you're unable to go to college with Susie. And if you do go college, you have to pay international student. The price of an international student, which is, I'd say, very weird, because you've been living here for 5 years. Why should I pay for international student kind of price, simply because you don't have a status?
And has that changed for you now, Sara? Because I know you're studying forensic science at the moment.
I mean, I was fortunate. I got my status before applying for college, so I was able to apply and get Susie, But that's not the case for some of my friends who have had to make that money on their own, and especially when you don't work, when you can't work, it's impossible to get that sort of money.
Okay, all right. James, do you want a quick just response to what Sara is saying there?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
On this area, like, you're nodding away, but obviously
I think the point,
there needs to be
classification is. So Sara obviously is now recognised as a refugee, rightly so, and has access to university education, etc. Because then, good luck to you, and you're doing so well. But I suppose people waiting for asylum are waiting too long. So there's that kind of dichotomy. People who come in who are applicants, they've got to cross the line to get status. Once they get status, things become possible and they begin to get all those supports. It's much more limited early on. The programme for government does contain a commitment, obviously, to get rid of direct provision and completely, I suppose, do away and overhaul that system.
Is there a date,
COVID,
timeline in
Ukraine,
line for that?
Well, it was due to happen over the lifetime of the government. It was due to start in 2020. It started.
Any update on that?
Well, COVID came along and then Ukraine came along. So the system's been overwhelmed, I suppose, in the last couple of months. It's still very much in progress, but it's been. And I suppose the other thing that factors into it is the housing delivery. So there wouldn't be this kind of same competition for scarce resources.
Okay, but I think the direct provision is probably a separate issue.
The idea is to get people into housing. So that's part of it.